Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 30th of 2023, and given that there's a lot of problems happening between Bob Iger and the Disney board and the constant shakeup that has been taking place for the past couple of months between all of them, not just on the Disney Plus situation with all the subscribers that they have been losing throughout this year, but let's not forget about all of the box office failures that they have been dealing with, such as a lot of things related to Indiana Jones 5, The Little Mermaid, Elemental, and also the other ones that are looming, such as The Marvels and Snow White 2024. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that there's a lot of problems happening right now between everything related to Bob Iger and all of the board members on trying to course correct the Disney slate, everything with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and let's not forget about Star Wars, which is an ongoing struggle, both on the Disney Plus platform and for the planned and mapped out movies as well. However, looming, of course, over all of this rises a bigger issue at hand, and has a lot to do with their overall structure of the up-and-coming live-action remakes of the Disney animated classics that's only going to get worse and worse moving onwards. If we all thought that Snow White 2024 was bad, I think that this is only going to make matters worse for Disney, so let's dive and dig into all of this, and let's go into all the details. Now, we know that Bob Iger is fully embraced with the whole DEI agenda, alright? The whole diversity and equity situation just keeps doubling down by Disney, and they are upping the ante with all of this. Now, however, with Disney still having many issues with their upcoming projects, one major development has to do with what Bob Iger and those high up at Disney are now moving ahead with for their live-action remakes. One plan moving forward that Disney is about to announce in the first quarter of next year is a full-on reimagining of The Hunchback. Disney initially canceled the concept of remaking the film entirely beat for beat, and an accurate representation of the film was axed. Now, Disney is gearing toward ditching the source material and giving the fans a complete retelling of that film in particular. Now, this was all a Bob Iger plan that was approved by nearly all members of the board, over 90% of them to be exact. Additionally, the Hercules remake is still set to ditch the idea of making him a demigod, by, of course, also applying that in the upcoming remake, where they are also aiming to make this more of a Meg-focused series, with a complete reimagining of the villain known as Hades, with a complete redesign. To make matters even worse, a big announcement is being prepped by Disney for the first earnings call of 2024 that a Little Mermaid sequel will be moving forward for a 2026 release date window, and will be fully embracing their DEI agenda and doubling down on that, and how the film as well that is going to follow the daughter of Ariel to continue that story of the animated original sequel. Now, let me just pause here quick, guys, before I get to the even more severe stuff about this whole plan by Disney, is that I have a major issue with what they're doing with Hunchback and getting a complete reimagining. If I had to take a real big guess here, they probably were very much on the fence of creating the character the way that he's represented in the original film. They probably were very afraid that they would offend people by the looks of the character, and that most likely is why they're going to give us a reimagining of the character. It makes you wonder what they are really going to do with the reimagining of the Hunchback. Again, this is no different than what they are doing with Snow White 2024, when Peter Dinklage raised his concerns about dwarfs being represented in that film, and how Disney quickly responded and axed their original ideas of actually having dwarfs in the film, by the way, and/or CGI iterations. And they quickly responded to Dinklage back in 2022 and erased that concept, and instead threw in the 7 magical creatures, or the 7 weirdos, as a lot of people like to call them, right? Now, we know that Disney does not know what to do at this point. They are getting way too PC, the political correctness is getting out of hand, And it's really beginning to make you wonder, when are all people going to begin to wake up and realize that whatever Disney is doing right now is not only damaging pop culture, but it's also damaging the minds of a younger audience, and that goes ahead and sees these movies, right? So, moving onwards here, alright? This is where things get even more severe. Is that in addition to all of this, the Sword in the Stone is looking to race swap the character of Arthur. This is also a part of their DEI agenda that is moving into full swing. All of these announcements are prepared to be put into motion by early 2024, many of which were delayed from the September D23 event this year, as Disney is actively dealing with multiple issues with their business models, such as Disney Plus, for example, and their theatrical releases with many box office failures as of late. However, Bob Iger is set to make more announcements for more live-action remakes to be put into development as soon as the spring of next year to expand their live-action remake slate. So, look, we know that he doubled down on the whole cost containment plan. He doubled down on saving money and spending less, right? And in turn, they're going to be making less money to balance things out. That's all what this cost containment plan is about. Spending less and making less. So expect these live action remakes to be very cheap looking, to be very small scale, and to have a shorter running time, with unknown actors and or actresses moving onwards still, and how they're going to embrace that to lower the amount that they have to pay for the actors. And I think at the end of the day, Bob Iger has got no clue on what to do with this overall live-action slate. It's not just Bob Iger and the board, and I can't stress this enough, and I know it may get repetitive, but it's not just Bob Iger and the board that are the problem. We gotta look at some of the top shareholders. You know, two prime examples. We have BlackRock and Vanguard, really pushing this agenda. I mean, you even had BlackRock and you had people like Larry Fink really saying that you really have to force change and all of these different things. So, at the end of the day, I'm not even quite sure if Disney is redeemable at this point with DEI and everything ranging from BlackRock and Vanguard really at the helm of it all. And I think that Disney is just going to keep spiraling in a downward trend to the point where they either go bankrupt and they go out of business, or they're going to have to sell different properties just to keep themselves afloat. That's what I see happening eventually in the years to come. I don't think it's going to happen quickly. I think you may see some of that beginning to happen by maybe 2025 to 2026. You know, if it keeps on happening like this, forget about it. You know, there's no way that they're going to sustain themselves. So anyway, I am really intrigued to hear what you all have to say about this ongoing development with their live-action slate, what you guys think about the whole situation with Sword in the Stone, Little Mermaid 2, as well as everything happening with the Hunchback reimagining. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.